everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Friday, February 19th. We are finally in the final day of the trading week, and we are in the final hour of the trading day. The final hour of the trading day is my favorite time to make my buying and selling decisions because at the end of the day, the large financial institutions come in. They're dealing with the most money. They have very smart people, best technology, best information, and in my opinion, following what the large financial institutions do in that last hour, in particular in the last few minutes, provides an edge in your long-term trading, in my humble opinion. So thank you all for coming today. I appreciate it. It's always nice to see everyone. Appreciate you coming here, spending time, investing your time, and I hope you're learning something good and that you're getting some kind of dividend payment on the time that you're spending here. So currently the Dow is up 33 points, roughly up about 0.1%. The NASDAQ is up 20 points, up 0.14%, and the S&P is down 3.64. So we were up higher, much higher earlier. We came back down. It's been kind of a volatile day, actually. If you looked at the numbers on the indexes, it doesn't seem like it, but it has been quite a volatile day. So, all right, here's the plan for today. First of all, we are going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them going forward. I did have some day trades today that I'm going to share with you as well. After that, I'm going to go over to the board, which I just recently what's the best way to put it? Recently made a decision that I'm just going to put up on the board the trades from my my past students and my current students, just so we can spend a little bit more time teaching, looking at potential end of day trades. So I'll take a look at my students' positions. We'll go through. We'll see how they look and see how they're doing. Looks like everything's green over there right now, so that's good. After that, we are going to talk about trader psychology. In my opinion, it is the most important skill that you will ever develop in trading is your trader psychology, creating a plan, and then having the discipline to stick to your plan. So we're going to spend a few minutes there. After that, I have gone down through my watch list. I have gone down through the results of Kamal Scanner. I do have 3 requirements before that I look for before I enter any trade. The first requirement is that I need to have a confluence or a combination of indicators lining up on multiple time frames. Requirement number 2, I need to have a good risk to reward, at least 2 to 1. So if I'm risking $100 with strong and legitimate support below me, I need to be able to make 200 or more to the upside based upon strong and likely resistance above me. And then number 3, kind of a mix of things. I need to position size based upon the current volatility of what I am trading and what the volatility is of the market. I need to always make sure before I hit that buy button, I really have to ask myself seriously, do I really need this? Am I doing this out of habit? Is it a really good setup? Is it a clean trade? And then always keep in mind, do I already have positions in this industry? Why am I adding more? Why am I adding more risk? Good to be diversified, even to get outside of equities like gold, bonds, silver, the dollar, etc. It's very important to have diversification in what you are holding and also in the types of trades and strategies that you are using to take those trades. All right, so I do have some end of day candidates. I also have some end of week candidates that we're going to be going over, taking a look at, analyzing, go through multiple time frames. We'll look at the risk to reward. And if I find something good at the end of the day, I will go ahead and purchase it right before the market closes. After the market closes, if you have any questions for me, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. We have freed up a little bit more time here in the podcast. And that's what I hopefully freed it up for, so that I can answer more questions. We can look at more potential trades or stocks that you're interested in. All right. And then lastly, if any of my students have any new entries or exits at the end of the day, if you could please wait till the end of the day to let me know about them. And then after the markets close and the pressure's off, I will go ahead and update everything. Okay, so that is the plan for today. So hang tight. I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer and I'll be back in 40 seconds. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, let's see who is here today. Brian is here. Nice to see you, Brian, as always. Hope you're having a nice day. Appreciate you spending time here. Lava is here. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Thanks for coming. Kamal. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Thank you for the results of your scanner each day. I always appreciate that. I know everyone else does, and appreciate your friendship during the day. Carlos is here. Buddy, what's happening with Carlos? Hello and happy Friday, everyone. Good to see you, Carlos. And looking forward to our next lesson on Monday at 6:30, right? Jatin is here. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Hello, Jatin. Nice to see you as always, my friend. Gary is here. Hello, Greg and group. Happy Friday. Good to see you, Gary. Always nice to have Gary here. Kamal has something for us to look at. Let's take a look here. DNLI. DNLI. Don't have that one, Kamal. DNLI. I put it in twice. DNLI. Yeah, it doesn't pull up on my charts. Sorry, bud. Tracy is here. Good to see you, Tracy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you and Paxton are doing well. And I'm looking forward to our lesson on Wednesday. So if you have any questions today, you please let me know. Miko25 is here. That is great. Good to see you, sir. Always nice to have you here. So, all right. Well, is everybody glad that it's Friday and we're almost done? Today is options expiration for the month of February. So could be interesting and volatile at the end of the day. Who knows? We shall see. All right. Well, let's take a look at and let's get started. All right, Clorox. Well, shoot, this one started off pretty good. Greg, or myself and Gary and I took a half position in Clorox. We had a move down, sideways motion. We had a bullish engulfing bar. We had a V1. I bought at 187.70. Moved up nicely yesterday. Moved up nicely today before it reversed back down, slightly under my my entry point by about 71 cents at the moment. But my stop is, it has not moved more than 1.5 ATRs from my entry, so I am not in trailing stop mode yet. My stop on this will be a close below halfway of the washout bar. This is the bar that I took it on with the V1. So started out great, slightly underwater, did hit one profit target yesterday, which always makes things a little better. CNK. All right, so I did buy CNK back here on the 10th of February. I bought it at 20.52. I bought it with the break of this fractal, and I also bought it with this V2. So bought it at 52. It has been going up nicely. It is up 3.71% today, which I'm grateful for. It was a little higher than that. I did hit one profit target at 121.77. This is going to have to move 1.5 ATRs from my entry, so it's going to have to move up to 250, right about here, before I institute any trailing stop. And that's for today. Every day I go 1.5 ATRs from my entry, and every day the 1.5 value right here, this changes a little bit, but today it's right here. So it's moved up nicely. It's up 5.69%, so grateful for that. But this one is just kind of steady as she goes. Ollie. All right, so Johnson and Greg and myself took a half position yesterday in Ollie's bargain outlet. I did like the crossover. It's a valid crossover. Moved up a little earlier, reversed back down. I took it because of the 520 cross and the trigger of the fractal. I will keep this. It's holding the 51. It's holding the 50 RSI. The price is still above the 5 and the 20, and the 20 is still above the 5. So a bit of a pullback today, but pull back into support. So this is down today, but that's okay. I'll be holding this. SPY. All right. Well, we finally got an overnight SPY trade. I do buy the SPY every day at the close. I hold it overnight. I sell it first thing the next morning. I bought it yesterday at the close at 390.72 and sold it at 392.10. So nice little overnight SPY trade. This has been nice and profitable for the year. The last few days have been a little bit choppy, but I will be buying this at the close, holding it over the weekend, and selling it Monday morning first thing. Verizon. All right. So Gary, Quad, and myself, we did buy Verizon down here with a deep dip buy. We had a double bottom with the bullish divergence under over 30. I bought here at 54.17. A couple days ago, had a huge move up, which was just great. It held above the 200. Yesterday, it held above the 200 again. That's why I kept it. Today, it looks like it's going to close below the 200-day moving average, and I will go ahead. And if it does that, unless barring some miracle at the end there, I will go ahead and close it. But this has been a 4.06% gain in a few days, so nothing wrong with that. WSM. Am I the only one in this? Yeah, I'm the only one in this. I did buy WSM yesterday with this false breakout to the downside, bullish engulfing bar, V1. Crossover, I bought at 127.58. It's moved up nicely today. It's up 2.31% today. I did hit one profit target at 130.38. So this is all looking good. This orange line here was my stop, halfway of the washout bar. This also has to move 1.5 ATRs from my entry. So right now the 1.5 value is 9.8. So it's going to have to move a little bit. It's going to have to move up to about here before I go into trailing stop mode. So not even close. So just steady as she goes. I'll just be concentrating on the risk portion of this trade, letting it go up here. Once it gets here, I'll go into trailing stop mode. But right now, as it is, my end of day stop would be a close below halfway of the washout bar, halfway of yesterday's bar at about 124.70. But glad to see this up today. Facebook, not so hot tamale. Kamal and I bought this. I bought a half a position back here when we had a 1050 crossover. I bought it at 273.87. This one has not worked out at all. The only saving grace that I bought a half position. I will be exiting this today for sure. Kamal already exited today at 263. So he got out intraday at a little better price because it's 261.72. So I will be exiting this. I will be taking a loss on this, but in the coming days, I will be eyeing to see if I can get a rejection of the 200-day. That is a deep dip buy, and Facebook is one of the stocks that backtest very well with rejections of the 200 or the 250. But yeah, this was a bummer, but that's how it goes. I have to follow my rules, right? But I may get a second chance at it with the rejection of the 200-day moving average. Okay, VIX. Day trade. I'm going to go in reverse order here. An hour or so ago, we had a pullback into value, a lot of nice sideways motion. You can see the sideways motion. Then we have a V2. Here's day 1, 2, 3. Day 2 washes out day 1. Day 3 closes above day 1's close. I bought it here at $15.27. The next bar just went racing up for me. As soon as it closed, I sold half at $15.39. And then it was very rude. It came right back to my entry point. So the second half that I didn't sell, when it came back to my entry point, I got out at break even. So still a profitable trade because I bought here at $15.27, sold half for a profit at $15.39, sold the other half just right back where I bought it. And then earlier in the day, I had a really nice trade on VIX right here. Here we have a reversal. We have a V1 to the downside, which the next bar completely negates, goes on up. We went under the negative third, over the negative third, under 30, over 30. MACD was close to turning green. My stop would have been halfway of this washout bar here. I got in at 1501. As it moves up, I scale out. I took half at 1507. I took another half of a half when it kept moving up at 1514. Took another half of a half at 1524. And then here it got to the third ATR channel, and it also got to the 50-day moving average. And I just went ahead and sold it on strength. So I got in at 1501, out at 1507, out at 1514. Out at 1524 and out at 1530. So that was a good trade on VIX. So two good trades on VIX actually. TLT. Here we go. This was my first entry on the 5-minute bar. We came down, we had some sideways motion. We went under 30 RSI, over 30 RSI. I bought here at 143.70. Moved sideways for a while, then I had a big kind of move up bar here. I sold half like I always do at 14.90. Then it came right back to my entry. I got out at break even on the second half. So similar to the other trade that I showed you. So, but bought at 143.70, took half profits here at 143.90. When it got back to my entry point, I just got out for a scratch trade on the second half. And then I had it happen again. We went under the 30, under the negative third, over the negative third. We came back down. We bounced at the 30 RSI, and we closed above the third ATR channel. I got in at 143.19. On this bar, I took half profits, kept going up. Then it came right back to my entry point. So as soon as it got back to my entry point, I just went ahead and got out. So few of those happened to me today, but they all turned out positive. And you know, when I'm in a profitable trade and I take half, most of the time, if it goes back to my entry, I'm just not going to let a positive trade turn into a negative trade. So I hope that makes sense. Then Apple. Apple's the one I struggled with today. I bought Apple here with we were close to the 30 RSI. We bounced at the 100-day moving average. We bounced at the negative 1 ATR channel. I bought it here at 129.34. Next bar, boom, closed right below the 100-day moving average. That was my stop. So that was a loss. I got in at 129.34. And, oh, I got my colors mixed up. And I got out at 129.20. So I lost 14 cents on that one. But, you know, you never know what trade's going to work for you. But the key is, if you're wrong, just get out quick. If you're right, well, then stay in. And that's what I try to do. The next bar, oh, I delete. Okay, now I see what I did. So I got in, got out. Next bar, I got in again. I tried to get in again at 129.35, again using the 100-day as my stop. I survived one bar and then boom. So two losing trades on Apple. That last trade I got at 129.34 and I got out at 128.29. So challenging on Apple today, but the rest of the trades were good. And you know how it goes. This trade right here was another under 30, over 30, and I decided to pass on it. And look, that's the one that worked. That's the one that worked, but that's how it goes sometime. After a couple trades, I kind of look for something else. Okay, so I think that's it. TENB. It looks like my Apple trade, doesn't it? Had a V1 yesterday. We're right at the 1 ATR channel. We didn't really go under 30, over 30. I mean, I think yesterday would have been the day to take that. It's okay. I don't know. Let's see. I think Kamal sent me another. Oh, this is the DNLI. Looks like it's a rejection of the 100-day moving average. RSI, did we? I don't think the RSI really got there. It's okay, Kamal. I mean, it's kind of more of a Kamal trade, I think. But I think if I was going through the charts and look at that, I don't think it would actually jump out at me. But that's just me. That's just me. Brian says, I'm picked up PLTR and XON. Okay, good. Hope those do well for you. Cassie is here. Hello, Cassie. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, please let me know. Yavar says hello. Johnson says, good evening, Greg and all. Hello, Johnson. Nice to see you. Dan is also here. Hello, Dan. Brian said, Kamal, DNLI looks good. Did you pick up shop today? Johan is here. Good to see you, my friend. Always nice to see Johan. And Jatin said, RDFM is roaring today. Glad I held it. Well, let's take a look. Whoa, it sure is. Congratulations. Very nice. Dipped its toe into the value zone and took right off. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Okay, let's go over to your trades and take a look here. We have Johnson, Frank, and Yas in PSNL. Looks like they bought at 40.45. Moved up, down, down. Today it went up again, but it has now since reversed. It did reject probably the 50 RSI. Let's take a look. Yeah, it rejected the 50 RSI and it rejected the 50-day moving average. So that's not a good sign in my opinion. So down on the day and down on the trade. NIO, Morgs bought NIO back here at $58. Initially moved up really nicely, but then just really struggled, and it's had a down move ever since then. Although today it is up slightly. Don't know what Morg's stop is going to be. 50 would kind of make sense to me, but this one up a little bit, but down on the trade. Square, we have Johan buying Square at 237.67 and Jatin buying at 245. It's 276.14, up 1.95% today, and $245 for Jatin's up almost 11% on this trade. Wow, congratulations. And Johan's up more than that. Nice going, guys. NVAX, this is Frank. Frank bought back all the way back here at 135, and look at this monster trade that Frank has had. Boom. It looks like it's doubled. More than doubled. 270, yeah, more than doubled. He did sell, I think, 90% somewhere in this area. He's keeping 10% as a trailer, but up another almost 5% today. So congratulations, Frank. That was excellent. Car, look at this great trade from Kamal. Kamal bought Car at 37.24. It's 37. Wait a minute. 37.24. Is this right? 37.24. Oh, okay. That's right. 37.71. The percentage messed me up there. So up 2.89% up on the day and up on the trade for Kamal. And then another Kamal trade along with Johan. Look at this, everybody. Wow. Kamal and Johan bought EGHT yesterday at 35.54. It is now 37.98, up 6.84% just today. And for the trade, 6.37% looks like for the total. So look at that. Everything over here is positive on the day, except for PSNL, which is down a couple cents. So very nice. Very nice going, everybody. Tracy says, what do you think of BYD? What do you think BYD is doing? Well, we dipped our toe back into the value zone yesterday and we bounced. We do have a V2. Here's day 1, 2, and 3. Day 2 washes out day 1. Looks like day 3 is closing above day 1's close. Excuse me, but this is just too high for me to buy, Tracy. It's outside of the value zone. The value zone is the green line here and the green line here. It's outside of it. I will take trades up to the second ATR channel if they're break under and back over the 200 or the 250s, or if they're moving average crossovers. But just a V1 or a V2, this is too high for me, and there's no sideways motion here whatsoever. So this is not something I would be interested in, but it is definitely up today. Kamal says, I have not picked up shop as of yet. I've been watching it. John said, I got out of PSNL yesterday. Okay. Frank says, hey, Greg. Good to see you, Frank. Hello, Greg and group. I am out of PSNL for a small loss. Okay. So I think that just leaves Yas. Johan, fantastic Kamal. That's a great trade on 8. For sure. Congratulations, Tracy 7. I bought it at 47.38. What was that symbol again? BYD. Hey, nice going. Well, Tracy is a student of mine, so we're going to put that up there. 47. Oh, you bought it. You bought it in the spot you were supposed to buy it. I thought you were looking at it today. Yeah, you bought it back here in the value zone. Perfection. Always better to buy in value, sell above value than buy above value and get your stop back here. So excellent. I'm not sure what day, probably that. Nice trade, Tracy. Very good. But yeah, you bought it right here in the value zone. You bought it, in my opinion, where you should. Very good. Okay, well, I think that's it. So listen, before we start going through my watch list and looking at the end of the day candidates for, the best end of day trade that I can find, let me talk a little bit about trader psychology before we move in that direction. This is from our friend Steve Burns. This is the New Trader, Rich Traders channel over on Facebook. Some real serious traders over there. It's a big group. You should apply. And they post really great stuff there. But of course, Steve always posts really great stuff. I always like to do posts from Steve, especially on Friday. And let's see what Steve has to say here. There are no universal answers in trading. Everything has to be considered with regards to your own risk tolerance, return goals, time frame, and desired screen time. It's true. We're all individuals. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses, and the key with trading is to find a trading methodology that fits your purpose. I'm sure you've heard this many, many times, but it's true. You need to find a trading methodology that fits your personality. If you don't like to get up in the morning, then you probably don't want a system where you have to trade in the morning, right? That's what's nice about the end of day trade. You basically sleep all day. You have to get up about an hour before the market closes though, right? So that you can do your work if you're an end of day trader. But, I go through this with my students. I can tell very quickly in my lessons what type of strategies my students like. I have some students that hate deep dip buys. I can just tell. They're just like, they don't like them. I have some students that don't like crossovers, but I have some students that love deep dip buys, right? It's just something about their personality that gels with them. And so, that's why I teach, about 5 different approaches. Hopefully one of those will fit someone's personality. But if you're trading an approach that doesn't feel right to you, even if it's a good one, even if it's a good back-tested one, it's probably not going to work for you. You're probably not going to be, it's not going to be sustainable. You're probably not going to stick with it. So like Steve says, everything has to be considered regarding with regards to your own risk. Everyone has different risk tolerances, return goals. I have so many people that ask me, hey, well, what should I buy? And how should I, I want to trade. I'm like, well, what are your goals? Are your goals to make 50% a year? Okay, well, you're going to have a lot of risk if you want to make that much money. How much screen time? Do you want to sit in front of the computer all day? Do you just want to do it at the end of the day? So, a person is really lucky if they can find out what kind of trader what kind of trader they are, what kind of risk tolerance they have, how much screen time they want to put in, what strategy they want to use. And so it's kind of a lifelong trading struggle to find that. I like return to value, false breakouts, V1s, V2s. I like those a lot. They're very clean trades. Deep dip buys, they're scary. They're always scary, but they have great reward potential as well. So you know how if you're a child and the child goes, I want to be a doctor, and he knows or she knows from a very young age, that's pretty good because then they know the path, right? But it's for a lot of us that didn't know exactly what we want to do, it can be tough, and it's the same with trading. So, give it some time, give it some thought. And another thing I might throw in there is probably the methodology that works the best, that you've had the best results with, is probably the one that you should use, because just kind of by default, it's working best for you. So most likely it's resonating with you. So spend some time, think about your risk, think about what kind of trades you work best for you and you've had the best results with. And, hopefully one day you will find the trading approach that really works for you. There's an old saying, there's a trading strategy out there waiting for you to find it, or that will fit you, something like that. So anyway, thank you, Steve Burns. You are right. There are no universal answers for everyone. All sorts of different variables going on with trading. And I think the real successful traders are the ones that found the one that works for them in that regard. Sunny, good to see you, Sunny. Sunny says, Greg, if I'm looking at the charts right, the indexes are showing bearish divergences on the weekly MACD. Does that influence how you trade or position size right now? I think yes and no. If I look at indexes and they have a lot of bearish divergences, yeah, I think it influences a little bit what I would take. But even if I have a trade that looks really good, even with divergences, yeah, I will go ahead and take it. But I do look at the divergences, certainly. But I look at those more as far as taking an actual trade against them. Today, I'm actually looking at shorting the Qs on the weekly because of the divergences. So to try to be more specific with your question, like it factors in a small bit, but I wouldn't say that. I would say more likely than not, even if there are divergences, I still will go ahead and take a trade if it's a good, clean trade. But I certainly do watch them and I notice them, and especially if I'm in a position and I start seeing the divergences, I might act a little quicker. Kamal says, Tracy, ISRG is close to where we bought it. Kamal says, Frank and Steve are lost today. I think Frank's here. Morgan's here. Morris, I got your email. And as soon as I get some time so I can properly respond to that, I will, okay? But good seeing you, bud. Frank says, oh, here we go. We have a poem. Sweet. I wonder if Steve's internet's down again. – It was down the other day. Okay. Or maybe he's just taking the day off. Steve doesn't have any positions right now. So maybe he's just enjoying the day. Frank says, trading can bring out the best or the worst in us. That's a worthy topic for traders to discuss. Markets bring strife, decisions, and fuss. But one thing we share, we all ride the same bus. Oh, that's great. Trading can bring out the best or the worst in us. That is totally true. That's a worthy topic for traders to discuss. Markets bring strife, decision, and fuss. But one thing we share, we all ride the same bus. That's so good. Let's give Frank a hand for that. Dan says, Frank, wow, you have like 3 or more styles. Frank says, thanks, Dan. You never know. Hey, there's Steve Burns right there, buddy. Good to see you. Appreciate you being here, Steve. As always, it's always an honor, a privilege to have Steve here. I'm always excited, and I know everyone else appreciates it as well. Kamal says, and they make their appearance. That's right. Fashionably late. They hurt us. Mark says, thanks a lot, Greg. Okay. All right. Let me take a look at my current positions before I start looking at anything new here. Gary and I are in this about break even at the moment. I don't really see any reason to sell this. Has not got 1.5 ATRs for my entry, so I'm not going into trailing stop mode. So I will just be holding this one. CNK is doing really good. It's up 3.34% today. You know, when you have a trade that's working for you and you don't see any red flags, just let it be, right? So I will let this be. This is up nicely. Ollie, this one is not up nicely. It's down 1.98%. However, it is holding the 50 RSI. The price is still above the 5 and the 20. The 5 is still above the 20. So is definitely down on the trade, but I don't see any reason to get rid of this at the moment. Of course, SPY had the nice little overnight SPY trade, buying that again today. Verizon, I will be locking in profits on Verizon today from the double bottom and the under 30, over 30. Definitely looks like it's going to close under the 200. That was my trailing stop at this point. So I will be selling Verizon here at the end of the day and locking in profits. Williams-Sonoma doing well, up 2.29% from yesterday. This one's doing great. I don't have to mess with it. And I think that's all I had. The other ones were just day trades. All right. Brian wants to look at Plug. P-L-U-G. You know, it's a bounce, but it's a bounce up against the backdrop of a big, huge down move. I wouldn't trust this bounce at all. Yes, it's a huge bounce for sure, but it was a huge pullback as well. Earlier in the day, there was a V2, but no, I just really feel like it's chasey, and we probably already, let's see. Now we got to about 49 on the RSI. No, I would not buy this. I just feel like this is a dead cat bounce. You know, you drop something on a tall building, it will bounce, but no, me personally, I don't like that. But who knows, right? If I only knew. This one's not as chasey. It is a V2, it looks like. It did reject the 50-day moving average. However, it's a 48.75 at the moment, Brian, meaning that, you know, at the top of the bar here, we definitely were over 50 at some point. Yep, we were 51.81. So to me, that's a bad sign. We rejected the 50. That's a danger sign. We rejected the 50 above us. We rejected the 5, the 10, the 20. So no, I wouldn't be interested in that one for that as well. Johnson says, "Hi Greg, did you add half to Ollie to make it a full position?" No, I didn't. Certainly could, right? We both took, or I took a half position. I certainly could, um, but I don't think I'm going to. Um, I think I'm. If I had a V1 or something on Monday that showed some upward movement, I might consider it. But no, I'm just going to stick with the half position as for right now. All right. Well, let's take a look at some potentials. Fastly, this is holding the 30 RSI. This is a huge move down. Tracy, if you're out there, we were talking about combination of indicators like an under 30, over 30. Looks like this did go under 30 and over 30 today, but we have the 200 above us. We tried to get above it earlier today and failed. I would be interested in this trade in the future if we could close back above the 200-day, maybe a nice strong close with some volume. Then I would have the support, the theoretical support of the 200-day moving average below me. I'd much rather take a trade when I have support below me than above me. And today it just showed us. It tried to get above the 200 and sellers came in, brought it back down. So I'm glad I don't have to make a decision on Fastly. This is super scary, but could be a huge reward as well. But at the very least, I'd like to see this close back above the 200-day before I got interested. Here is CAR. CAR is looking pretty good. Kamal already has this, but there is a nice false breakout to the downside. And what I mean by that is, here's the range. This yesterday's bar washed out the low of the range, and then today right back up. So it's a false breakout to the downside from this low right here. Plus it's a V2. Here's day 1, 2, and 3. Day 2 washed out day 1. Looks like day 3 is closing above day 1's close, but there's a gap. When there's a gap larger than 1/4 ATR, from here to here is 1 ATR, from here to here is half, and from here to here is a quarter. This looks like it's just a little bit above a quarter gap. I don't like gaps. Gaps tend to get filled to the downside. We're at 46.95, so we're getting close to the 50 RSI and that 200 or the 20 EMA confluence of resistance above. Now Kamal's in it. That's different, right? Kamal's in it. He has profits, so he can risk open profits. But for me to buy it here right now, I think I'm going to pass on that. Alibaba. This is weeklies, everybody. This is weeklies. And Alibaba does backtest positively, not hugely positively, but positively nonetheless, when you have a 520 crossover. And we do. Again, this is the weekly bar, right? So that's why I'm waiting till Friday to see if this crossover is going to hold. And it looks like it is going to hold. Haven't had a weekly bar trade for a while. I like to vary it up. And so I will go ahead and buy Alibaba today based upon the back-tested 520 crossover, and also to get some diversification away from daily trades. Next week, if we close below both the 5 and the 20 next Friday, I would sell half. And then if the 5 actually closed under the 20, I would sell the other half. Plus, of course, I'd have my emergency stop in there, which overrides all of that. So I would, to position size for this, let's just say, let's say I was going to risk $2,000 on this trade. Remember, this is the weekly. So the week, I would go to the 2 ATR value, which is 41.33. So if I'm willing to risk 200,000, worst case scenario on this trade, 2,000 divided by 41.33 would tell me to buy 48 shares. Not a lot of shares, but the reason why I'm buying fewer shares based upon that 2,000 is because the ranges of a week are much higher than the ranges of a day. So that's why the 2 ATRs on the weekly are going to be higher, and therefore that's why I'm going to be have fewer shares. So I like where it's in the value zone here. I actually like to buy crossovers on some weakness. It gives me a little bit better risk to reward. Still holding the 50 RSI. So again, it's a valid crossover. I'm glad that it's on the weekly because I need some diversification away from my daily timeframes into the weekly timeframes. Qs. I am considering shorting the Qs. Sonny was asking me about divergences. There's a massive divergence going on here with the Qs. Look at the high we had over here with the MACD bars, very, very tall MACD bars. We pulled back into the value zone. We went red. Now we are certainly much higher here than we were over here, but look at the MACD bars. They're not very high. And you can also see RSI divergences. Here we have a high, the RSI was here. We went higher, lower. Now we're much higher than over here or here, and the RSI is even lower than that. On top of that, this week we went above 70 and below 70, and we are near the third ATR channel. 92% of prices fail there. So I will be shorting the Qs based upon the weekly divergences, being that we're close to the third ATR channel and that we went over 70, under 70. The bullish case on this trade, however, still is that it's holding the 5 EMA as support below it. But so we're to 66.31. If it rockets back up, closes above 70, that would be my stop. MTH. Don't really see anything here. Ocean Engineering. Rejection of the 1 ATR channel. I don't see anything there either. KMI, Kinder Morgan. I don't see anything there. So notice how we got stopped right at the 1 ATR channel. W having a big day today, but it looks chasey to me. It looks chasey to me. AAPN. I don't see anything there. CLOV. Earlier in the day, there was a V2, maybe a false breakout to the downside. I don't see anything there. Budweiser. Big gap up, reversal back down. It's a bit of a bearish bar. It gapped up, but looks like the close is going to be lower than the open. DKNG. Well, it is a V2. False breakout to the downside, but it's a very big gap on this V2. And the gap's larger than 1 ATR, or a quarter ATR, I won't buy it. AGQ, which is double leverage silver. Up today, I'm waiting for a 5 EMA to cross under the 20 and then back over for an entry. Sprouts Fresh Market. V2 false breakout. We've already rejected the 50 RSI. I don't like that. BEKE. Nice V2, but I always sound like the Scrooge of Christmas, but we've already rejected the 1 ATR channel. We're too high for me to take this. The risk to reward to me is not good at that point. Edit. Don't see anything there. And CLB, I don't see anything there. So in my opinion, the best trade on the day would be CAR, but I'm not going to chase this up here near the 50 RSI and this moving averages. Alibaba, I am going to buy Alibaba on the weekly. And remember, the proper way to position size, in my opinion, take your maximum allowed risk, divide by the value of the weekly. Don't divide by the value of the daily because you buy way too many shares. Make sure you buy the 2 ATR value on the weekly. So I will be buying this with this crossover. It will be a weekly trade. and I will be shorting the Qs on a weekly trade. So no new daily trades for me. So let me take a look here. What do we have? 9 minutes. I'm holding Clorox. I'm holding Cinemark. I'll be holding Ollie. Of course, I'll be buying SPY. Verizon, I'm locking in profits. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that right now while I'm thinking about it, because it looks like it's going to close below the 200. But that was a good trade for sure. Okay, so I am out of Verizon. I'm going to put that over here. Facebook, I need to get out of Facebook, but I will revisit this again if we get a close under, close back over, or rejection of the 200-day moving average. And WSM is doing well. I will hold that. Johan, it looks like some of the genome stocks have the same pattern. Johnson says Z, Zillow, reversal V1. Yep, rejected the third ATR channel above and a possible V1 to the downside. That is not bullish. Potential to the short. I don't think it's quite a V1, but yes, it's the proper type of pattern for a short, because we've rallied, we bounced, and then we failed. So the people that bought this here were trying to buy the dip. It moved up. Yeah, first, you know, it's not a double bottom, not a double top with a bullish divergence. I mean, I don't know if I would suggest it, honestly, but it's, you know, the type of pattern that I would look for, with the bounce, with the move down, a bounce that reverses and rejects a lot of things. It didn't reject the 70 RSI, I don't think, though. Johnson, you had a short yesterday, right? Or somebody had a short yesterday. Wonder how that worked out. But yeah, I mean, I would much rather be short this stock than long. Jatson says it feels like the institutions are selling at every rise. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree, which would indicate that possibly we're under distribution at the moment. Johan says NVTA just closing above 20 EMA. Would that present a good case? Let's look. NVTA. It's holding the 50 RSI, which is helpful. But it's stuck right there. Hard to tell, huh? But maybe Kamal can give his thoughts there to Johan. All right. So Clorox is keeping. CNK I'm keeping. Ollie's bounced off. That's good. I don't think I'm going to add another half. I think I'll just keep the half, Johnson. But I'm glad to see it's off the bottom. SPY looks like it's closing at the low of the day, which I guess gives me a better overnight SPY trade, right? And then WSM is doing fine. So, and I already got out of Verizon and Facebook. So I am going to go ahead and I'm buying Alibaba with the 520 crossover, as long as it closes above. It's 260.65. Yeah, I think it's going to, but I'll just wait there at the end. And then the Qs, I am going to be shorting the Qs. So I'll go ahead, get the Qs fired up. So I'll be shorting these on a weekly. and the other weekly I was looking at was TLT. I forgot to show you that one. Ooh, well, yeah, I think I'll let that one go. There's not a combination. The only possible combination of indicators on this weekly would be a close under, close over 30, which might happen today for sure. It really might happen today, but I think I'll just let that one go. Let's look over on the monthly. It's tempting because on the monthly we have that -1 ATR channel sitting right there also. I guess we'll watch that then. And then I'm going to go ahead and buy Alibaba for the weekly trade as well. So I shorted the Qs. I bought Alibaba. I got out of Verizon and I got out of Facebook. Did Apple go negative on the day? Oh no, it's 14 cents up. BA is, it's a V2, but it's too high for me, Kamal, because it's over the 1 ATR channel. Hold on, I have to be aware of the time here. BEKE is strong. It's a V2, but it's too close to that channel for me. It's too close to the 1 ATR channel. All right, we have about 45 seconds. Right. That is it for the week, everybody. How about that? All right, let's see where I got all this stuff. So I bought SPY at 390.03. I bought BABA at 263.27. And I shorted the Qs at 330.74. All right. So this is my short on the Qs on the weekly time frame. Why is this still moving? Um, 330.74 is my short. Guess I'll make that red so we know it's a short. Okay. And again, that was a rejection of the 70, the double tops with the bearish divergences. Looks like a V2 as well. And then Baba. I bought with the 520 crossover on the weekly, and I bought this here at 263.27. On the weekly. So is that everything? CLX, yes. CNK kept. Ollie kept. SPY. Oh, did I write that? No. 390.03. Ooh, I didn't get a good fill on that, did I? 390.03 for the overnight SPY trade. So that's it. So nice positive week. Interesting day today. Today swing trades were down a little bit. Day trade were up, but all in all, a really good week, really good month, really good year, and very grateful for that. So if any of my students have any new entries for me today or exits, this would be the time to go ahead and put it in the chat. And in just a minute, I'm going to get those all updated. Before we do that, just a quick reminder, I do teach private one-on-one lessons in the evening time via Skype. I teach a 15-hour course, 5 sessions. Each session is 3 hours. That's where you get the 15. I teach you everything I've learned from my 25 years of experience in trading, everything I've learned from my coaches and mentors. Basically, I teach 5 strategies. It's a pretty intense course. So if you're interested, show up and be ready to work, because I'm going to ask you a lot of questions and you have to think a lot, but I'm going to do my very best to teach you everything I know. I know you're going to be a better trader when you're done. And so if you are interested, all you have to do, send me an email. Email's in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter, and just, in the message, whether it's email or a Twitter message, just say, Greg, I'm possibly interested in your one-on-one course. I will write you back and say, great, let's do a Skype call. Skype call is just for me to ask you some questions, get an idea about you and your trading and your goals and your challenges of trading. And then it's also a good time for the prospective student to ask me detailed questions about the course. And then when we're done with the call, obviously you can think it over, and if you decide you want to do the course with me, just email me back and let me know. And then lastly, if you're not able to do the one-on-one course, I just recently created a online course for the deep dip buy stock trading strategy. It's on Udemy. I think it's only about $12 or $13. They have really good prices there over on Udemy. So it's 10 hours of video. You have PDFs along with it, and I do my very, very best to teach you the deep dip buy strategy in that course. And I have had some really good feedback on it. So the link's in the description. Okay. Oh, I guess I should say, and also, if you like today's podcast, I really would appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button before you click on out of here. It does help to build the channel, helps to keep the channel around, helps to let YouTube know that there's some good content or valuable content here, so that they can get out and share it more often. All right. So now that we got all the business housekeeping out of the way, let's take a look. Sunny says, thank you so much for answering my question and for hosting this broadcast. Have a beautiful weekend all. Thank you, Sunny. Very nice of you. Jatin. Okay, so Jatin, I don't know if you were here before, but I'm only going to put on the board trades from my students because the board was just getting too big. But Jatin's getting in shop at 1430, shorted DIA, very small position. So Good luck with those, bud. And you can let us know next week how they're doing. Gary is out of Verizon. Rolled some NIO 54 puts yesterday. They will expire out of the money today. Happy for that. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Oh, you rolled them. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So you probably rolled them lower. Jatin said, there's a weekly doji on the Dow. Once that low breaks, add more shorts on the Dow. Let's take a look at the Dow. Or we'll look at the DIA on the weekly. Yeah. Is it a V1? Close 315.04. Yes, it's a V1 to the downside as well. And just like the Qs, look at this, there's a big divergence here. We've gone higher, higher, higher. MACD bars are going lower, lower, lower. Kamal is in BA. Okay. Good luck with that, Kamal. And oh yeah, Kamal already exited. Oh yeah, so we're okay. We're all out of Facebook. But I will be looking for Facebook. I will be looking for a close under or rejection. You remember the trade back here? Look at that beautiful trade. Same thing. Close under, close over the 200. That was a monster. That's what I'll be looking for again, even though I had to take a loss on this particular one here today. I wish all trades were winners, but as we all know, it's not. They're not. Johnson and his Zimbabwe on the weekly trade. Jatson says, sir, last week you had said you'll say about your best and worst trades in your career this week. Oh boy. Well, I've told this story before, but when I was in my early 20s and I sold my chewing gum company, it was a horrible confluence and combination of things lining up. I was in my early 20s. I had a lot of money. I started to trade and I had no idea what I was doing. And long and short of it, I didn't have stops. I didn't position size. And so long ago now, but I think it was somewhere between a month and a half, 2 months. Guess what I bought? I bought WorldCom and I bought Enron. And let's just say it was a month and a half, I guess. I lost $1 million in about maybe just a little over a month and a half because I had no rules. I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, granted, there were a lot of really financial savvy people that lost hundreds of millions of dollars in those trades. But can you imagine if I had taken somebody's trading course, somebody that knew what they were doing? What would I have lost? 10 grand maybe? You know what I mean? So yeah, that for sure were my two worst trades, and I kind of clump them together. That's why on this podcast, I feel like I'm preaching, in a church or something about adhere to your stops, position size, take your first loss. First loss is the easiest, because I lost about $1 million in just over a month and a half because I had no trading plan. So I know of what I speak. My best trade, that's a tough one because I know my biggest move up because when I started the chewing gum company, of course, but we went public and, I had a lot of shares And then we came out with a product called Zicam, and it was a huge success for the common cold. And, I guess not a lot of people will experience this, but when you get many, 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 many hundreds of thousands of shares, and it kind of was like the GameStop stock. It was called Gumtech. And when Zicam came out, it went roaring from like $5 a share to $30 a share. So it was massive. It was massive. So that really, I guess, wasn't a trade because I couldn't buy and sell because I was an insider. But, the way that I trade, everybody, I don't trade for big, huge home runs. So like in the past 20 years, I can't really think of like a monster, big, huge trade that sticks out in my mind. I'm pretty consistent. I mean, sometimes maybe I'll get a 20% trade, maybe a 30% trade every now and then, but you can see from the way I trade, 3%, 5%, 8%, those are big trades for me. But the biggest move I ever had up in the market, was my own company's stock. But certainly the worst trade, and it was a trade, horrible trade, was Enron and WorldCom, and I wrote it down to zero. I was not a quitter. Oh man, even thinking about that makes my blood run cold. Lova said, made it to lesson 6 in the new deep dip buy course. As expected, the teaching style is great and the information is incredibly more valuable than the price. Oh, thanks, Lova. I appreciate that. I worked really, really hard on that. I really worked hard. I mean, I wanted to make it just as close to teaching one-on-one as possible, of course, without the questions. So that's why I was so repetitive and show so many things. But I think you're going to like it, Lova, especially when you get to the end of the course, because I have 10 simulation videos on there where I just, go bar by bar. I go, oh, here's the trade setup. We can't see what's going on in the future because I only look at the current bar, and it's kind of like trading. I do that with all my students too. I do that with all my students when we do simulation trading. But thank you so much. I appreciate that, bud. And let me know if you have any questions about it, okay? Jatson says, you're so humble and frank in expressing everything. Hats off to you, and may God gift you consistent profits for your efforts. God bless. Have a nice weekend. Thank you, Jatin. And the same to you. Thank you very much, my friend. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody being in this podcast. Here's AA. Hey, AA. Good to see you. I'm GG. I don't know if those are your initials, but obviously my initials are GG. Signed up just now. Oh, good. I think it's worth the price. Oh, and by the way, if you ever go to Udemy and it's for sale for $99, do not buy it. You know how Udemy works. Every once in a while, they'll have something full price. Just wait for it to be on sale, right? For $12 or $13. That's certainly worth the money, and I know it's going to pay dividends. But thank you very much, AA, for letting me know, and thank you for coming to the podcast. Well, the Dow Jones ended up 0.98 points, so not even quite a point. And the NASDAQ ended up 911, and the S&P ended up down 7.26. So much for the big options expiration volatility. We almost closed basically flat, but sometimes it's huge volatility on options expiration. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at the cues on the last 5-minute bar and see. Well, there was a little volatility to the downside, I guess, in the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes. Interesting. So yeah, my trading story there with WorldCom and Enron, that's you can probably hear it, that it's heartfelt when I tell you I do not want anybody to go through that. It was horrible. Just every day, down, down, down. I mean, can you imagine losing $30,000, $40,000, $60,000 every day and going, what is happening? Oh, man. I wish I had had a mentor. I wish I had somebody that could have talked a little sense into me. But on the other hand, everyone, that is why I worked so hard at trading, and I went out and studied with so many different, traders and learned different trading methodologies. I almost quit after that. I mean, could you blame me? But I just said, no, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to learn the right way. I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to invest money and time into doing this. And it really helped. And I can really say too, it really turned up and helped my trading immensely when I started reading Steve Burns' books, specifically Moving Averages 101. So, in addition to maybe grabbing my course on Udemy, go to Amazon and buy all of Steve Burns' books. But I would suggest starting with Moving Averages 101. So I don't know if Steve's still out there, but I appreciate that, Steve, writing that book. Kamal says, thank you, Greg and all. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Kamal. You as well, my friend. Okay, so let's see. Nobody's in Apple. Do we have anybody left in Verizon? I'm out. Oh, Quad. But Quad's not here today, so we'll see what happens. All right. Okay, that's it, everybody. Have a good weekend. Be good. Be safe. Real quick, one reminder. If we all do one random act of kindness daily, we just might set the world in the right direction, by Martin Kornfeld. Let's go out, try to do something nice for somebody. Just a smile or a wave or hello. Just be nice and pleasant. Help out another human being today. And then if you could also do that for an animal, that would be twice as good. The human will appreciate it, the animal will appreciate it, and it will make them feel good, and it will make you feel good as well. Okay, Johnson says 13,000 calls and 15,000 puts expired worthless on PLTR. Stock closed exactly at 29. Yeah, how that all works and how they all, if they drive the price to certain prices, who knows? Who knows? That's a whole other world. But thanks for letting us know that, Johnson. So thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend, okay? And hopefully we'll see you Monday during the last hour of the market. Take care. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and Forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.